Users with the viewer license can open up presentations that have been shared with them, navigate them, and interact with them dynamically. To open a presentation, find it in the Content Manager and click on it, and view the presentation. And the presentation is launched in runtime. Navigate through the presentation using the navigation buttons like so. At the top of the interface, these buttons are used to exit the presentation, full screen it, undo or redo the last action, or reset the presentation. Over here we can open the presentation menu to rerun all the queries in the presentation, undo, redo, or reset an action, export the presentation or part of the presentation to a selected output and print it. Build a subscription, again by exporting part of the presentation or the whole thing, and then having that sent to us on a scheduled basis so that we see any changes in the data. We can show conversations or start a conversation based on the presentation or a data point or member element in a query in the presentation, and then invite other users and roles to that conversation. And we'll see the slices in the presentation here as well. We can interact with the queries in much the same way that we do in Discover. So we won't go through all of the interactive functions from the context menu. To review those, take a look at the Discover for Viewers video. A couple of differences though, quickly. We can change the visual, which is something we can't do in Discover. And we can also rate a query as well. We can assign a star rating to it, and we can open up information about the query as well. For each query in the presentation, we can full screen the query like so. We can cross filter and cross highlight. Notice that by clicking on this bar that represents Acme and reseller, I've actually cross-filtered this chart by Acme and reseller as well. And if I want to undo that, I'll just click on this chart. And I can do the same thing from over here. I can click on this bar that represents bikes to filter this chart over here by bikes. We can use the lasso selections to filter by several different elements like so. And the auto lasso selection automatically applies the selection without having to go into the menu. We can open up Smart Insights to see analyses that are generated by AI algorithms about the given query. So that can give us a lot of additional information without us having to go in and do additional calculations or create formulations. And we can open up the NLQ chatbot and use this as a way of interacting with the query. So rather than interacting via the context menu, we can simply chat with the bot. And let's say we'll add product category, and we can select that item, and we see here that the product category hierarchy has been added. We can change this to, let's say, a grid, and we can add sales, so we can really use this chatbot to add any kinds of interactions that we want, which makes interacting with presentations very seamless. It can be a preferred alternative than using the context menu if you prefer typing. And like Discover, you can access the extended functionality as well. We mentioned conversations before. We can also open up actions that have been configured We can analyze an item further in Discover Lite and then save our changes. We can build scheduled alerts so that we'll get an alert if a specific value changes or stays the same. So that's a brief overview of what viewers can do with their presentations.